Hey guys, what's going on? It's Joseph here, back with another video. Recently, I've been watching a lot of the MCU movies, and I've just had Marvel on my mind a lot in the past few days. So I decided that it would be cool to create a video on some future Marvel movie ideas that I think would be awesome to bring to the MCU. Let's get into it. Starting out first, a Venom movie. To me, Venom is my favorite Spider-Man villain and is also kind of like an anti-hero protagonist in some forms of media. But honestly, I think that bringing Venom to the MCU would be so cool. I know they can't really do it because Venom already has his own movie franchise that is not connected to the MCU, and he was featured in the original Spider-Man 3, and the Disney Spider-Man movies pretty much have avoided reusing any villains from previous Spider-Man movies, but I would love for Venom to be on screen with the rest of our favorite characters. Besides, the current Venom franchise is meh at best, and with the MCU's success and reliability, I think that they would do a much better job of bringing him to life on screen in a solo movie or possible Spider-Man sequel. Regardless, Venom's never really been presented well in theaters, as many disliked both Spider-Man 3 and the Venom movie from 2018, which has been his only appearances on screen to date. I just think that Venom deserves better, and with the talent of the MCU, he could be brought to life in maybe even a horror movie type fashion, which would be amazing to see. Venom deserves better, bring him into the MCU. Next up, another movie that I think would make for a great addition to the MCU would be a Daredevil film. Like Venom, Daredevil has been on screen at various times. He has been in the 2003 Daredevil movie, and I think he was in his own TV show recently as well. Regardless, both of those are also mediocre at best in my opinion, and I think that seeing him in the MCU in his own movie would not only be unique, but awesome. Although most Marvel origin story films like Captain America or Thor usually aren't special, I think that Disney could take Daredevil and run away with it and turn it into something special for the first time. Again, Daredevil deserves better and would be dope to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Moving forward, I think that bringing in an Iron Fist into his own movie would also be great. Unfortunately, his only appearance on screen was in a TV show a couple of years back, and that did not go well at all from what I've heard about the show. However, he can be redeemed by making a movie about him in the MCU. I think that he would make for another great superhero to see on screen in the future of Marvel. To me, Iron Fist, along with all the other characters and movies on this list, are just waiting to be brought to life and have limitless potential and opportunities. I mean, remember, Marvel brought in Guardians of the Galaxy into the MCU, which could have been a complete disaster, but it was spectacular and led to new heights for the franchise. I think that Iron Fist, along with these other movies, could really do that again for the MCU. After Iron Fist, another movie that I'd like to see introduced would also be a Luke Cage movie. Luke Cage is a beast, and I think that he could rival some of our favorite characters on screen. Like Iron Fist, he also briefly appeared in his own TV show a few years back. From what I've heard, it was mediocre at best. So once again, the MCU could do better. The MCU could transform him into a much better and fun to watch character in the form of a movie. After all, to me, the MCU is still alive and well, and Disney's going to need some new ideas and heroes to keep the franchise running, right? Anyways, I also think that introducing a War Machine movie would be dope as well. Maybe this one could be a little different than the others. Maybe it could be a prequel like Black Widow instead of being about the future. I don't know. It's just that to me, Rhodey has always been kind of pushed aside for Tony Stark and other characters, and has never had his own time to grow and develop in his own form, such as a movie. I also heard that Marvel actually did want to make a solo War Machine movie, but it was scrapped, so the idea was already a possibility anyway. I might be the only one out there who would be interested in this, but I think that War Machine is dope, and that developing him to be much more complex rather than just a cool suit of armor would really make a positive difference in the MCU, considering Rhodey's significance to the franchise. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure how this movie would be made and where or when it would take place, but I think it's a unique and good idea regardless. Moving forward, a movie that I think would be much more popular and fun to watch would be a live-action Spider-Verse type movie. I think that this movie could bring a lot of popular Spider-Man characters to life in the MCU, which would be awesome. I know the animated movie was very successful and came out just a couple of years ago, but a live-action MCU one would be cooler. I don't know. I just would love to see a Miles Morales Spider-Man in live action, along with maybe other characters like Doc Ock, the Green Goblin, the Sandman, and so on. Maybe just a Miles Morales Spider-Man live action movie would be cool for the MCU. I don't know. The possibilities are really endless when it comes to Spider-Man and the MCU. Moving forward, another movie that I would enjoy would be a Punisher movie. I've heard some good things about the TV show, but bringing the Punisher to life via the MCU would really be a move in the right direction in my opinion. His skull logo is dope, he's a cool character, and like some of the other characters on this list and movies, it would be fun for Marvel to bring an anti-hero protagonist movie into the MCU. Now, one movie that I think would be even cooler to see brought to life in the MCU would be a Ghost Rider franchise. Ghost Rider, like the Punisher, is a very cool and underrated character, and combined with the greatness of the MCU, would be taken to another level of success in my opinion. I mean, imagine a Ghost Rider MCU film. Just imagine it. It would probably be amazing. Now, although I have been pretty much praising the MCU all throughout this video, I will admit that not everything they put out is great or spectacular. but their track record is pretty solid, and I think that it's safe to say most people trust Disney and Marvel to put out good movies on a yearly basis into the MCU. Next up, I have a movie that I think many fans would love to see, an X-Men MCU movie or an X-Men vs. Avengers type MCU film. Honestly, I feel like I don't need to explain my thoughts or feelings behind this idea. It would be awesome. How would they do it? I don't know. I mean, you can't have anyone else playing Wolverine besides Hugh Jackman, right? And not only that, but the MCU films and universe feel a lot different and separated from the X-Men films and universe, if you know what I mean. Regardless, the MCU has pulled off some risky and unique films in the past, so why not maybe make an X-Men movie in the future one day? And finally, for the last movie idea, I think that making an actually good Fantastic Four movie for the first time in the history of humanity would make for an excellent addition to the franchise. There have been several Fantastic Four movies, but all of them are just not good. I mean, how hard can it be? You have 4 superheroes with unique abilities and Doctor Doom, who I think that if he were to be introduced to the MCU, he would actually be scary and dope, not just some kid who appears for 15 minutes on screen and then is defeated. Man, I think that an MCU Fantastic Four movie would legitimately be fantastic, and it would finally bring some good characters and stories to life for the first time on screen. I mean, at this point, you know what people don't like about a Fantastic Four movie, right? So avoid the errors of the first films, and you should be fine, right? Anyways, like the others on this list, most of these heroes and villains have actually had movies made after them, but they have mostly been either mediocre or just terrible, and can be greatly improved upon in the vast MCU universe. In the end, that's all I've got for you guys today, and I hope you all enjoy the MCU as much as I do. These movies would be great to see on screen, and I don't think that any of them are really a stretch or reach out too far for the MCU. They made the Guardians of the Galaxy after all. Anyways, thanks for watching, and have a great day.